Hey, folks, we're kind of continuing a conversation that we started on Sunday, and the hope is to just talk about and answer some questions about some stuff that's happening at Church on the Hill.
Yeah, and that's transition. Transition is part of life, I think. Everybody transitions at some point in their life to another grade, another house, another job. And here at Church on the Hill, we have been in about a year-long process of transition that involves both Pastor Jason and I. So that's kind of what we want to bring to the table this morning and have a little conversation, invite you to join in with us. And we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, we are. So I think there's questions out there already, maybe even before Sunday. You say people have been asking you similar questions in the last year or two?
Yeah, over the last year, some of it's really...
What's the question you're getting?
How long are you going to be here? Or are you getting ready to retire anytime soon? I don't know if those questions are asked because they see something or because they're just...
I can say for my part, I think there's a good amount of people asking because they don't want you to go anywhere. They love you and they're honoring you, but they also recognize like, hey, what are you guys doing? We see something happening at Church on the Hill.
It could be that you're just looking old. I'm looking old. Like, man, you're looking this job is killing you.
And that's your words, not mine.
But it's true. No one is on the stage, right, for forever. Everybody transitions at some point, and my wife and I have been at Church on the Hill for going on just right around 24 years in this position as pastor. And not all that's been lead, but I was associate before. But we're really feeling like, when I say we, Pastor Jason, myself, our team, that God's positioning us to make some changes in this year that are going to enable us to function well over the next decade.
Yeah.
So, and part of that does involve my role as lead pastor. And so what we are looking at is later in this year of, so to speak, Jason stepping into the lead pastor position. I'm going to step out of that. I'm not going to leave Church on the Hill, at least in the near future, but I'm going to take on a different role of serving in different positions and try to see if we can position ourselves to be a little more effective.
Yeah, I think I would say for my part, almost as long as I've been here is right when I came, basically, that you took the lead position. That has been a huge blessing to me, having you as a lead pastor. And that change has basically been something that for years you've talked to me about. As long as I've been here, you're like, hey, Jason, here's what I'm doing. Here's why I do it. Yeah. Here's what's next. Yeah. And one day, you might have to do this. You started out with that might.
Yeah.
Like maybe, if you stick around, what are you thinking? Asking me questions about my future. And then the last few years, I think both of us have realized, like, well, you are called here.
Yeah.
Jason, I'm called here long term.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy how there's a model in Scripture. Jesus did this. Jesus knew that he wasn't going to be around for 30 or 40 years with the disciples, so he prepared them, right? Of course, I'm not comparing us to that, but I think even raising kids, you want to pass that baton off to the next generation. Something here at Church on the Hill that we have championed, we always champion, is one generation shall tell the next of your wonderful work. So we believe in generational ministries, and not just me and you, but even those coming behind you, right?
Yeah.
I'm a boomer, baby boomer, Gen X, millennials.
Yeah, we've got a lot of millennials on our
Zs.
staff. We've got a few Gen Z, because they're just now kind of coming into the workforce, to be honest. And we try our best to staff our team that way. And that means, one is training the other. And eventually, that's what it looks like moving forward.
Yeah. And honestly, one of the reasons when people were asking me, perhaps like why now and what's it going to look like? We'll talk about what it's going to look like. But over the years, I've worked in several organizations and churches, and I've seen it done well, and I've seen it done really not well at all because there was no plan. Because whoever was in charge got to the end of their run, and there was no one there to take their place. We've worked hard over the last few years to avoid that kind of a scenario, and so we have this great team in place. And I have all the trust and confidence in the world that you are in a spot where this is going to be a great thing, and you're competent, you're seasoned, you've been around a lot of blocks. You're well seasoned.
I'm seasoned. I'm getting as seasoned as you. There's still a little bit more black in my beard, but
I mean, we've all grown. It's been a good. The last 10 years has been an interesting run of growth and development, and we've tried to again manage that in a way that honors God. So
yeah, I think there's a picture that we gave our staff the other day that I wouldn't mind trying to share here, and that is in a baton handoff. There is you're running singly, you're running alone, but you're on a team, and then you pass that baton and you stop, and the person in front of you runs.
Right.
And that is one way of transitioning. That's the way actually most churches transition. Is someone else picks it up, you stop, and everything changes. We've got a whole new runner. What we're talking about is more, this probably isn't a great picture, but a mule team has a lead, and we can switch who's in the lead, but we're still pulling together.
Right.
So what we're going to do at Church on the Hill is we're going to continue to pull together.
Yeah.
Bruce isn't going to disappear. God might say something to Bruce or to someone else on the team, and we're going to follow what God's lead. But we have no plans on Bruce going anywhere or stopping preaching or stopping being a part of leadership at Church on the Hill. But that position of lead is going to change, and Bruce will remain on the pastor team, on the teaching team as well.
Yeah, and this isn't something that just Jason and I have been working on. This is something that we've involved our board of elders, our team of elders, our church board, and even our staff, our immediate staff, are aware of it. But it's something that we've seen coming, and we've tried to position ourselves, like I said, to do it effectively and to do it almost seamlessly. And one of the passages of Scripture that has always been a part of my life is where Paul is speaking to the church in Corinth, and he said, listen, because there was discord about personalities and who's more important, and Paul said, listen, who is Paul, who's Apollos? We're only servants through whom you've come to believe. One plants, one waters, but God gives the increase. And each will be rewarded according to his labor. So what Paul did right there is he kind of dismantled hierarchies and star-studded sort of leadership, and said, hey, come on, we're all the big picture is we want to see the church healthy. And so one of our goals in this transition, right, is number one is that Jesus is worthy of a healthy transition that honors and glorifies him, that speaks of unity, that speaks of humility, that speaks of the kingdom of God and the reputation of Jesus in the city. The other reason we want to do this is because the next generation deserves a solid leadership. It doesn't have to be disconnected. We believe it can be very connected, just like this handoff he described. And so Church on the Hill, if you're not familiar with us, we hundreds of kids call Church on the Hill home. And those kids will be young adults. Those young adults will be our adults. And so we want to invest in our future by making decisions now that are going to be beneficial.
Yeah. So. And I want to say, too, that the reason why I have so much optimism about this, why I think it's going to go so well, is because of the way that you have led since I've been here. I came in 2010. And that is, there's no doubt you are the lead pastor, but you share that responsibility. And the way it's very unique, as you know, at Church on the Hill, that we even share the pulpit. Almost every Sunday, we're sharing the pulpit together, or we're sharing the pulpit with one of our other pastors. And I think that's just one little picture behind the scene of how Bruce has always led. He's very collaborative in his leading, and that's why I believe that this is going to be as successful as it is, because I've been a part of the decisions for a long time now, and he's let me in places where maybe other lead pastors wouldn't let somebody in. You've let me in. You've let other people into the team and into those decision makings, and so I just want to recognize that. And I also want to say too that it's okay to be a little sad about this, because we love Bruce. Like you've led so well, and you didn't obviously know I was going to say this, but you've led so well in the time that I've been here, and there was a good amount of time that you led well before I got here. And so people might ask, well, then why do this? I mean, if nothing's wrong, if Bruce is going well, then why are we doing it? Because I think often, unfortunately, what you see is change happens either because someone can't do the work anymore, or they shouldn't do the work anymore. They've done something wrong, or they've got a better opportunity somewhere and they leave because of that, or unfortunately sometimes because of moral failure. And none of those things are the case right now. We're not doing it because of any of those things. We're doing it because of what we say and believe about generational leadership, and that it's best to do it. It's best that I start doing it while I still have Bruce around.
Yeah.
Because that means I keep a mentor on the team. I keep someone who has been there and done that, and that I can go to and say, how would you handle this? You know, hey, what's your wisdom in this situation? I have to make a decision. It's my decision now, but tell me your experience from the past and how can I gain from that?
I just think that word you use, collaborative leadership, is just such a powerful concept. And it's not that we make decisions by committee necessarily.
Right.
20 people have to decide and vote. Yeah. That's not the case. But what we try to do is listen to people that are outside of maybe the way we think. And I just think there's such power in that. Our team is so amazing in that respect because we have a wide range of backgrounds,
Absolutely.
a wide range of perspectives, education, experience. And when you bring those things to the table in a vision casting or a decision making, it just gives you this rich blend of perspective and wisdom, and we want to tap into that. Well, and like Jason said, there's nothing unhealthy going on behind the scenes. We're just trying to be proactive in setting up the next decade of leadership.
And I would even say, because I think a natural question is, well, you know, what are the elders, what are the board, what does the team think of this, and the reality is they've all been working with us exactly towards this for a while now, and we have a really sweet and healthy unity on the whole subject. I was very honored. You know, Bruce and I had a elders meeting just a while back as we talked about this with them. And I look around the room, and there's just an amazing group of elders that we have here, and a lot of them are dear friends of yours that
we've
you've
been together.
served with
We've been together
for many
quite a few years.
Yeah, and to have that group of people that have deep, strong loyalty to you say, Jason, we love you, we affirm you, we're here for you. It was, I mean, I just went home melted to have that kind of support from the team. And then, of course, the board as well has been integral in asking us the right questions and helping get us to the right place to do this well.
Yeah. So you might be asking, you might be thinking, well, what's the timeline? How's this all going to take place? We're part of a denomination, Assemblies of God, and there's certain protocol that we have to follow and pay attention to, and together with the board, we want to do that. I don't have the authority to appoint a senior pastor. Other hires, yes, we do at a lower level of leadership, but this particular position, because they're the head of the organization, they're the CEO, if you will, of our nonprofit, has to be voted on by a church membership. So what this is going to look like is on October 6th, we have a church business meeting. We do this every year where we look over financials and vote on deacons and so forth. But this particular coming meeting, we will actually put it to a vote of, yes, I want to ratify the board's recommendation that Jason step into this position. And if you're a member at Church on the Hill, you'll have an opportunity to vote on that. Yeah. And that becomes the official kind of, if you will, installation of Jason as that.
Yeah, it really is the church's decision. Yeah. The church constituents, the people who vote. Now, you have to be a member to vote. So you've heard us talk about membership if you've been around here for, well, as long as I've been here, we talk about membership. And we have a much smaller membership than we have attenders. But if you would like to be a part of that decision, and I hope that you would like to be a part of that decision, next time you hear us talk about membership, join that class. Come be a part of it and cast your vote. Yeah.
And we're confident as we approach the end of the year that once we make those decisions and we sort of get back into our spots here on the leadership team, that we're not gonna miss a beat. I don't think I'm being naive. We've got a lot of great plans and a lot of great vision. The church is growing. I think people are healthy. I just think we're in a great spot. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am too. I'm excited about it. But I think there's going to be a question that we're going to get a lot of that might be worth trying to address here. And that is, well, what is Bruce going to do then? If he was the lead and he's not anymore, and you're saying he's going to stay in the pulpit, what does that look like? Because obviously every pastor gets a lot of jokes about working one day a week, that the pulpit is the only place you work. But we know that's not true. And the truth is, yes, the lead pastor stays in the pulpit and has a lot to do with the sermon writing. Bruce is going to continue to be on that team, our sermon team. But there is plenty of pastoral care and pastoral work to do at Church on the Hill. There won't be a lack of things for Bruce to do in caring for people. And right now, men's ministry is where he's thrown his hand in, but men's ministry is an important part of Church on the Hill, but there's so much more to that. The training of leadership in the future.
Yeah.
We have lots of plans, and we're also going to allow for time for what God's going to say.
Yeah.
What is next?
Yeah, it's funny because I was talking. Jason and I were talking before this, and it's pretty clear what he needs to do because
Right.
we know what this job. We know what a lead pastor's job entails. So I can. If someone asks me what's Jason going to do, I could pretty much describe that.
Yep.
But if someone asks me what I'm going to do, I'm like, well, here's what I love. And one of our passions, our whole career has been leadership development. And so we really believe that here at Church on the Hill, what we want to see is just, again, this generation of healthy leaders coming online. We already have a great group, but I believe there's a lot more that God's going to call. And so we want to have our hand in that. And,
absolutely.
So there's a little bit of unknown, but we're not fearing the unknown. We're actually looking forward to it, and we believe in you as well. If you're watching this and you're part of Church on the Hill, man, you're the fabric of what we're doing here as a community of believers. And I want to say that, listen, our community, Salem isn't that big of a city, and so people watch what happens in churches. And like I said at the beginning of this, sometimes transition does not go well. We're trusting that this one is going to go well, and it's going to honor God, and it's going to be a testimony to those who are watching.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and we're doing this as transparent as we possibly can.
Yeah.
And now is the time to kind of open that up to conversation and questions. So if you have questions, if you have anything, please, you're more than welcome to talk to us about it. Now, can we talk to every individual? Maybe not, but we got a good team, and they're also willing to take your questions. And if they don't have a quick answer, we'll get you an answer because you deserve. This is your
Absolutely.
church, and you deserve to know where we're going.
Yeah. So thanks for hanging with us. Thanks for praying, and we want to ask you, please continue to pray as we move into the summer and into the fall. Jason's going to take a little bit of time off in the summer to kind of catch his breath and regroup and be ready to go in the end of the summer.
Yeah, October 6th would be the date to remember as far as a business meeting, and then if that is indeed the church's will, and that's where we go, then that transition would take place in the new year.
We're following Jesus into the future. It'd be great to just stay where we are sometimes, but that's not what God does.
No,
he always calls us forward.
He doesn't stay still.
Yeah.
So if you're going to follow God, you're going to be moving. So
there's going to be some unknowns.
Yep, there's going to be some unknowns, but move
that's
along
called
with
faith.
us. Yeah, faith, follow God. I think it's the prescription for a healthy church.
Yeah. Hope your week goes well. Give us a call if we can help you, or he said if you have any questions. We appreciate you.
Yep. God bless.